Hello there gang, Devere here, another Past Blast, in which we should be playing a little bit of Half-Life. Released back in 1997 by Valve. It is of course the classic sci-fi shooter. So let's see what we get. Options. Keys fully rebindable. Mouse, one quick thing, you might want to, when you first install it, I would turn off auto aim, appears to be checked. So you want to turn that off, it will throw you shooting out all over the place. Some audio options, very limited video options. Some voice options for VoIP. A content lock, if you don't want any youngsters to see the gore. This is 1997 standard of gore. And some multiplayer options. So, all good stuff there. Well, first thing is multiplayer. There is actually select multiplayer because, of course, this uses Valve's own servers. So there's no GameSpy or anything like that, but it is, as you can imagine, fairly ghost town. And in all honesty, if you've seen my videos, you know my feelings on DICE doing single player and how it's bad. Well, I have the same thing with Valve and multiplayer. I just don't get on with their multiplayer games at all. I never have done. I've tried them all. Team Fortress, Half-Life. Yeah, never tick the boxes for me. So this is of course single player. So what we should do is we should dive in very quickly and look at the introduction. And I should leave it as medium. Of course, this is old school, so you actually get a separate training room as its own level, not part of the game.
Good morning and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System. This automated train is provided for the security and convenience of the Black Mesa Research Facility personnel. The time is 8:47 a.m.
So this, of course, was the first big difference compared to most shooters at the time. This introduction was absolutely groundbreaking. It is literally your train ride to work. And it also doubles as credits. But of course, you're not tied to any one spot. And as you go through the facility here at the Black Mesa Scientific Facility Research Centre, you will of course see various little Easter eggs relating to the plot. But what we'll do is we'll use the magic of video editing to jump forward in time, because this does last quite a while before the game itself gets started. But it's definitely a big statement of intent. This is such a ballsy introduction. Most shooters of the time, you pretty much picked a level and you went. Whereas, and then, you know, by now you'd be knee deep in dead already. Whereas here, you've got a little while to go before you even get to see any action. So yes, let's do some quick loading here. So things have obviously now gone pear-shaped, and the goat has been covered in butter, and we've got to escape the facility, basically. So the graphics definitely, yeah, I mean they're fairly light, quite crisp and clear in all honesty. It's quite wide and expansive areas. So this is of course built on the Gold Source engine, which was just a modified Quake engine. So that's ID Tech 1. It was licensed obviously by Valve, and they modified it in-house.
For that hazard suit. I'm afraid to move him and all our phones are out. Please, get to the surface as soon as you can and let someone know we're stranded down here. You'll need me to activate the retinal scanners. I'm sure the rest of the science team will gladly help you.
A younger and less bearded Eli Vance. Still love the screech of their head crabs. You'll notice how the game doesn't take the mouse off you or force you to listen to people. That's a lesson modern games could do with learning, in all honesty. So yeah, so far it's all more environmental dangers and challenges. This was quite a quite a break from what was available at the time, of course, with the many Doom-likes that were available. And on top of the Doom games themselves, of course, this is only a year after Quake, which was considered quite groundbreaking in its time. This was like a whole new level, especially in a way of of storytelling. Because yeah, you shoot and talk later. Got to be a bit careful when they're shooting. They will shoot through you. Right, follow me. So there's Barney. The gang's nearly assembled. Yes. As you'll also notice, there's no level loading in this game. It's a continuous load. Continuously streaming. See if I can't catch his attention. I think he's got it in hand.
That's one less horror in the world.
And the fact here, you're not necessarily alone in this game. Although, admittedly, it's no sort of squad-based shooter or anything like that.
See you later.
You might as well wait there for a moment while I go get a few gubbins. Oops, wrong way. Yeah, and the good thing with the continuous load is, I mean, there are areas in the game where you can't go back, but there are large sections of the game where you can go all the way back to where you started from. It doesn't restrict you whichever way you want to go because it's continuous loading, apart from the hard cut-off areas.
Yeah, let's go.
So in itself was quite novel. There was no level-based design, although of course it is very linear. The levels tend to be much more restrictive than what you'd get in, say, games like Doom. Did you get it? Good lad. But it is still a product of its time, so eventually you'll have quite a large selection of weapons. That's for sure. Some quite interesting and inventive ones when you get the alien tech. At the moment, they're all sort of mostly earthbound weapons. There's also just little touches like this. I mean, if I didn't want to stop there and watch that, I could just keep going. The game doesn't punish you for it. There's not a single moment in this game where it ever takes your mouse off you during a cutscene and forces you to watch anything. Alright, so now we've got a bit of firepower. Come back. Oops. I forgot about that one. Be careful not to kill him. I think that might be a bit bugged out there. You don't really need him for anything, so we'll leave him there. You only take him so far anyway. Yeah, so as far as it goes, there's quite a lot of game here to enjoy. Oh, that missed. I missed. But you all saw that, so. Oh no, I know where that is. Well, they've got 11 rounds. Oh, I didn't pick up some of my ammunition from the... it doesn't matter, really. Just for gameplay purposes. We can get some more ammunition over here in a minute.
Fine. You won't even know I'm here.
So yeah, this is it brought a completely new angle to single-player games. I don't want that to blow that up. They do sometimes bug out like this as well. Come on, open.
I hear something.
No, we don't. There's no one here. They're all dead. So yeah, you had a... I mean, it was a
There goes our grant money.
pretty good story. In fairness, maybe not mega epic, but decent enough. Leave him there as well. That's yeah, the shooting mechanics, they're actually quite interesting. It actually feels like there's some recoil on the... I thought there was yeah, it actually got a bit of recoil on the guns, of course, because that was something that was not particularly... Most guns at the time just kind of were point and click lasers. Very little in the way of recoil or dynamics like that. So this also added quite a lot to that part of the gunplay. And the only downside is the movement is very, yeah, sort of floaty. It does have that sort of vibe to it. Really, that does... hello? The odd occasional manky hitbox like that. Very bizarre. So what we should say, this is the gold source version. Now, of course, well, Valve did in 2004 release a source port version of the game, which is basically the same game, just rebuilt on their own source engine. So what we should do in a few moments, I'll quickly do a quick load, and we can have a look at that and how it differs. In all honesty, not a lot. It is exactly the same game. So we're just going to get down here quickly. This bit's going to be quite tricky. So yeah, it is a strange combination. It's definitely leading the way to the modern games of today. Oh, where did you come from? Yeah, headcrabs can be a bit manky on their bouncing sometimes on this part of the game. Let's just leave them. So they sort of stick to walls and things. So yeah, it's definitely sort of like the crossover of where we're going game-wise, leading its way to the modern gaming that we have today. While still with a definite hint of ye old school to it. So now they're all still here, all those ones. What? Although in all honesty I could probably duck a few of them. Don't get him? Hard to say. Oops, didn't think he'd detonate from above me. I should hope to see if there's any oops, if there's any collectibles in here. Which way is that going? I overslid. Yeah, definitely a bit of the on ice feeling for the controls, especially ladders. Good grief, ladders in this game are probably one of the biggest enemies you'll meet. There's a particularly challenging jumping puzzle coming up very shortly. That can be fun, I can assure you of that. We'll just about finish up this look at the game. And here's a nice little touch with the AI, if you... Because these things here eat the head crabs on their own planet, they'll kill them if they see them. They'll also try and kill me. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll quickly use the magic of video editing and loading, and I shall cut now to the source version of the game, so you can see the difference of the two. So a slightly slicker interface for starters, but options, there's a few more video options now. You can also change your difficulty level on the fly. Your video options, yeah, you've got a lot more details there. So let's OK that. So at your training room. So let's just load game. Can't remember which one it is now. Ah, yes, here we are. We're just the other side of...
Wouldn't you like to get one of these blood samples under a microscope?
Just where we... other side of where we swam through that tunnel. So the first thing you notice is a slightly better lighting for starters. And that's mostly it, in all honesty. So we're here at the... also better skyboxes. And also, as you will see very shortly, much improved water. But that's by and large it, as far as changes go. There's a few minor changes elsewhere, and supposedly a few bug fixes, but this seems to have a different set of bugs and people clipping out compared to the other one. That's just my imagination, but that pistol reload feels a lot slower than the original. The gun still has some good recoil to it. So yeah, it is mostly the improved lighting in places, and also the... which I'll hopefully get to show you in a second. There's that platform. There we go. As you can see, water now has a proper shader, not just a sort of textured effect. A vast improvement. I'll be here for quite some time trying to clear these guys out. And the only thing that was really surprised me is they're actually still sold as separate games. Half-Life and Half-Life Source are still sold separately on Steam. I would have thought by now they'd combine them just as a single purchase. But no, they're £7 a pop. What's the matter, Gabe Newell? The things at Steam that bad that if you did combine them into a single pack, you'd all go broke? So, which one to buy? Well, this does come with the Deathmatch, Source Deathmatch, as part of the package, and does look slightly better. Controls are still, they're not as floaty as the actual genuine Gold Source one. Then Gold Source is the game, of course, that started the ball rolling. This is just a kind of slight graphical upgrade. Come on, get him. But there, for example, you can really see how much better the water is here. Right, is that him finished? Yeah, he's... There we go. So maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe it does feel like that pistol fires slower. So yeah, it's a strange combination. This game is definitely a very good crossover of where gaming was heading, whilst still very much, some elements of it are still very much in the Doom school of shooter. So here's one of those cut-off points I mentioned. From here, if I was to go back there, I could go all the way back to where we started, and there'd be nothing to stop me. But here, from this point, once I cross into this water, there's no way to get back up on this side. But yeah, so that's so it is a lot more. I'd say not so much more. I mean, Doom and the games were quite linear, in all honesty, anyway. But they generally had sort of slipped off the edge because of that little head crab. It's alright, it's not far to go. Yeah, you know, games like Doom and that were fairly linear, but the levels were quite big and sprawling. But good grief, where did this all come from? No, there's one more left. But this one is very much more linear. Although there are the odd little side tricks to go find ammunition, like we saw earlier on. And this way. Oh yeah, this is the jumping bit. This in the Gold Source version is pretty horrific. And not that much better here in this version, if I'm being totally honest. Oh, see, I didn't think I'd made the first jump and double jumped. Luckily the checkpoint saving works, the auto saves. another crack at that, and then we'll probably go around to concluding our dealings. But yeah, it's just disappointing that you do have a walk with shift. But yeah, first person and jumping anyway is never a great combination. Because obviously we don't have legs, any real point of reference. Now let's see. Probably should have gone that. No, not going to make it. Oh, and I slid off anyway. Oh, yes. Yeah, we'll probably include our dealings here, gang. But yeah, so at the end of the day, this really was quite a groundbreaking game. It really took a massive step away from Doom and all the Doom clones that were available at the time. Good storytelling, massive area to game to play through, lots of interesting enemies, weapons. Say even the shooting dynamics were quite novel at the time. So this really did mark the crossover to where video games were going to be heading. Oh, see, it's just still sliding around. It's not as slidey as Gold Source version. It's just a shame I don't see why Valve haven't... I mean, if you buy the whole Valve pack, you obviously get both of them. So why now, this far down the line? Oh, and of course, if you're really after super graphical fidelity, there is the Black Mesa conversion, of course, as well, which is a paid version of it on the modern Source Engine 2. But yeah, I'm old school enough that I really not bothered just about a few flasher graphics. I think we've done it. Oh no, you're joking me. Yeah, jumping in first person, don't do it. Yeah, anyway, we were concluding our dealings, wasn't we? So yeah, but it still stands the test of time. Many people out there say this is perhaps, if not one of the greatest, even perhaps the greatest single-player first-person shooter. Maybe I wouldn't say quite as great as that, but it certainly rates high. It honestly does. And the fact if you do like multiplayer's even still alive, which is a rarity for a game of this era. So yes, Half-Life, the Gold Source and the Source version. So as to which one to buy, well, I'd say I probably myself would go for the Gold Source, just because that's the original how it was played. But you know, the extra little lighting touches and that are nice, but not essential. But it is pretty much outside that the same game, give or take the odd enemy here and there that seems to have changed position. But well, that could just be my imagination. But anyway, gang, we'll conclude our dealings here. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you found it useful and entertaining in some way. And as ever, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to let me know you're alive. I shall see you all next time. Bye now.